Hi guys! So I decided to talk a little about the drugs that I've been on because going into this whole infertility treatment thing, I really had no idea what to expect. I did find a few things online and this is just my contribution to people starting now. So probably, I'm assuming that since you're watching this video, you're having some sort of infertility trouble, trying to conceive for a while and not working, but do not be discouraged, it will work. You just have to find what's right for you. Personally, we haven't found what's right for us yet, but we're hoping this is the month. We just graduated from IUI to IVF, so this is our first IVF cycle, and I'm very hopeful and I can't wait for a month to roll around so I can know that I'm pregnant already. Anyway, so let's get started. You will probably get started with Clomid. Clomid is the gateway drug of all infertility treatments. And it's pretty mild. It's been used for a long time, for over 20 years as far as I know. And no one has really registered anything like too gnarly happening to anyone, so it's safe to use. You could, however, develop OHSS, which is ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. You should definitely be using Clomid under doctor supervision. And I'm telling you this because when I first started on this whole infertility thing, I wanted to do Clomid on my own, and I tried to get it and I looked online on ways that I could buy it. There are websites that people use to sell their leftover Clomid, and I'm sure if you just go to your gynecologist, she'll write you a prescription. But at the very least, if you're doing this with a gynecologist, make sure you're being monitored. She's taking you blood tests frequently and monitoring your follicle growth, because it can get really serious really quick and it can get painful and very uncomfortable if you don't know what you're doing. So Clomid is great. It's safe to use. It's an estrogen blocker, and what it means is normally the way your cycle goes is your brain starts producing follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, in the very beginning of a cycle. As your follicles start to grow, the follicles will start to produce estrogen, and as estrogen goes up, your brain picks up on that and decreases the production of FSH. So they're mutually exclusive. As one goes up, the other one goes down, always, okay? If it doesn't, there's a problem, but I can tell you that. You have to go to the doctor and figure that out. Anyway, so by taking Clomid, which is an estrogen blocker, your brain will produce more FSH, making the follicle grow all the way to the end, because a lot of people have early ovulation or too late ovulation, or maybe they don't ovulate at all. Their follicle becomes cysts at that point, and it can be painful too. I have PCOS, and I've never developed a cyst or anything, but I don't think I was ovulating properly, even though I have a regular cycle. It's about 32 days, and it's never been longer than 33, I think. So it's pretty regular, but I don't think I was ovulating right, because my OPKs, for you that don't know, is ovulation predictor kits. You can just buy them at any store, any drugstore, and mine would never come up positive. So I think I was just not ovulating right. So I took Clomid for a while. My side effects were pretty mild. I didn't feel very uncomfortable. My ovaries didn't get very big. I was a little bloated, but I think I normally am a little bloated by natural. But I didn't feel anything. But I did have one problem. Because it's an estrogen blocker, estrogen is also what makes your lining grow. So it affects your lining in a bad way. So what happened to me was, by the end of my stimulation period, by day 14, I would have a very nice big follicle, but my lining would suck. So even if fertilization happened, the embryo wouldn't really have anything to attach to. So we moved on from that to Femara, and I went crazy. I hated Femara. Femara is supposed to be good for people that don't get along with Clomid. So we moved on to Femara, and I hated it. I was grouchy and very bloated, and I had hot flashes all the time, especially at night. I would wake up like super hot. It was very uncomfortable. I was bitchy. I could have killed someone. Seriously, I hated it. And I even had like more extreme side effects, like being dizzy, or like if I'm just laying down, things would just be kind of like turning. I didn't like it at all. And the lining didn't improve that much. It went from being 6 millimeters on Clomid to being 7.1. So that's okay for lining, but it's not great lining. So that was that. And then we tried Clomid one more time. And once again, it was 6. It wasn't very good. It didn't work. And doing all those things, we were doing timed intercourse, right? So that didn't work. In case you're curious, this is what Clomid looks like. So don't be fooled. It says, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it says PAR 701 on the pill, and it's just a white little pill, like that. Yeah. Clomiphene citrate. I don't know if you can see it. So yeah, I'm showing because there's a lot of people selling this stuff online, and some people do buy it, so you never know what could happen. So that was my experience with Clomid and Femara. Month 3, we did Clomid again, didn't like, moved on to Gonal F, which I am so thankful that I found out it's very expensive. Both Clomid and Femara are cheap, but Gonal F and Follicle-stim are super expensive. And if you're ever put on those and your insurance doesn't cover it, you should look up the compassionate care program, because they can give you like a significant discount. We got 75% off. You just have to send them the application, send them your tax return for you and your husband if you file separately, and they will decide how much you need to have off, and they'll give you a little discount card. And it was a lifesaver, I'll tell you, because instead of paying like over, I don't know, between $1,000 and $2,000, I paid $230 for my pen. And this is what you receive. You receive a box like this for Gonal F. Let me cover my information here. Yeah, so for me, since I'm PCOS, a 900 IU pen was more than enough, because I can't take, if I take too much stimulation, I'm gonna have a litter. So I have to take small stimulation and be monitored, so I don't produce too many eggs, but I do produce at least one large follicle. So this is what the pen looks like. And it's really easy to use, and it's not painful, I promise. But you just receive this little thing with the pen and a bunch of little needles like that. So you just take one of them, peel this off, twist it in here. So you see mine is almost at the end, but I have another one that's left over from the other month that's a lot fuller. But turns out, even though it says on the pen that it expires in 2015, once you open it, so make sure you know what you're doing, because this shit's expensive. But once you open it, it's only good for 1 month after that. So I think both of these are not trash. I won't be able to use them anymore, but I won't need to because I'm doing IVF, so yay! Anyway, so you just turn, get closer to you right here. You just turn right here on the side until you get the amount that you want. I was doing 75, so see right here, 75. And it just adjusts here the amount that you want. You tap it so there's no bubbles. Don't press it because more than you want will come out. Then you just make sure you clean your application area, and you're going to go like this. I'm not gonna apply it on myself because I'm not taking stims yet. I'm still on birth control pills, but go like this. On your belly button, and this is where you're going to apply it, right here on this chubbiness, and you just hold it tight. You inject it, you hold the button for until the whole thing goes in, and when it's 0, you keep holding it, count to 5, let go, and then pull the syringe out, and you're done. And it's really easy, and it's not painful, I promise. I don't know if this little needle scares you, but it's really not that bad. Can you see? It's really not that bad. I was scared at first, but it's okay. So that's that. I didn't have a whole lot of symptoms, like painful symptoms, but the one thing that I noticed with Gonal F that I didn't like was that after I ovulated, I felt like I was pregnant. My boobs were hurting. Everything just made me think that I was gonna get a positive when I've never had that before with any of with Femara, with a natural or Clomid. So it was a little tricky in that sense, because it got me really hopeful, and it was negative. I even had a spotting, like on one of these months I had spotting, like a tiny little pink spotting 1 week before I actually got my period, and I knew it was too soon, and I convinced myself that it was implantation bleeding, spotting, but it wasn't. I just got my period, so whatever. And it wasn't a chemical pregnancy either, because I did test. I always gave and I always test. It's so hard. Anyway, so I did the next month I did Gonal F again, and I did feel the same things, but I was already schooled on it, so I didn't really fall for the tricks of Gonal F. So it was okay, but that's the most important thing that I can tell you about Gonal F is if insurance doesn't cover it, Google the Compassionate Care Program, ask your doctor for an application, and then after you get approval from them, they're gonna send you a card like this. See, mine says 75% off. So I got to pay $230 for a whole pen, which is more than enough for one cycle, at least for me it was, plus my trigger shot, which in this case was Ovidrel. You do, however, need a prescription for this stuff, so you're gonna have to see a doctor if you're gonna go forward with injectables. No gynecologist is gonna give you medication, a prescription for injectables. That's not gonna happen. You need to see a reproductive endocrinologist. You need to see a specialist. So anyway, here comes a trigger shot. So this is the Ovidrel trigger shot, and mine is not even open, so I'm not gonna open it. But the needle is very similar to Clomid, to Gonal, and this is the needle. This is the syringe. I don't want to open it because it's still good into 2015, and I didn't use it this last time. I used it the first time, and I used for 4 months. I used this one, and I do chart my temperature, so this works really good. This is Ovidrel. This works pretty good. Every single month that I've done Ovidrel, which was a total of 4 months, you take it in one day. The very next day, you ovulate. The doctor was telling me that when you take the trigger shot, you can ovulate anytime between 36 to 48 hours. But I swear to God, and I know this because I was charting my temperature, every time I would ovulate, it would be like the very next day. I would take the trigger shot on Monday. On Tuesday, I could see my temp drop and spike the very next day. So that was really good. And you know if you don't chart your temperature, you should get started, okay? It's really easy. You just take your temperature as soon as you wake up in the morning, download Fertility Friend on your phone, and log it in every morning. I really didn't really track cervical mucus or position. It's just too much work involved with that. But I did watch the mucus part. That is a good indicator as well of when you're gonna be ovulating. If you don't know, I'll just make another post about this another day. Anyway, so that was Ovidrel. I didn't feel anything after. It's really easy to administer. On this last month that we did the IUI, we did the IUI and the trigger shot at the same time on a Monday. But it was really weird because Tuesday rolls around and my temperature didn't drop. Wednesday rolls around and nothing. So only after that did my temperature drop. So it was like over 48 hours after I took Novarel. I think Novarel is a generic form of Ovidrel, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. I know it's just another trigger shot. But I took Novarel this time, and it took me way longer to ovulate. So if I had the choice between Novarel and Ovidrel, I would choose Ovidrel. But I didn't feel anything. I didn't like it also because, well, Ovidrel, you do it on your belly and you can do it yourself. Novarel, the doctor does it on your butt. So that was no fun. It's not painful, but it's a little bit more uncomfortable than with Ovidrel. Other than that, that's all I've had experience with. I haven't taken any other fertility medication so far. I'm guessing now that I'm doing IVF, I'm gonna try Lupron and Minopur and all that other stuff, all the other goodies that I don't know about yet. We'll see how that goes. I'll let you know how that is. That's all I have for you guys. That's my experience with all these drugs. I hope it helped you figuring some things out. And good luck to you. I hope you get pregnant soon. If you subscribe, thank you very much. I hope we can stay in touch. And that's it. Aloha. So Clomid is great. It's an estrogen blocker, which means